Well, I wasn't sure if I was going to run today. I just finished a 40-mile backpacking trip yesterday and quite a few blisters on my feet. Definitely a little bit tired from that, but I decided I wanted to get out and run, so I just finished up about 3 miles, so not very far. But I wanted to do something today. So if you follow me on social media at all, then you'll know that I'm sort of obsessed with the Western States 100. I decided when I was 17 that I was going to try to win the race some year. And I've spent about the last year trying to get into it, thinking that in order to win a race like Western States, you have to try and get in and run as fast as you can every single year until eventually you're successful. And I have a long way to go. I've been trying to get into Western States for almost a year now. Last October, I signed up for the Sean O'Brien 100K, which is both a golden ticket race and a Western States lottery qualifier. I thought that I probably wouldn't be good enough at that point to get a golden ticket, but either way I could get both a lottery entry and I'd be able to scope out the course a little bit so that when I am ready to go for a golden ticket, I kind of know what that's like. So for about 5 months, the focus was Sean O'Brien. I trained really hard for that race. I was really excited for that race. And with about 2 weeks to go, I started to develop an injury in my Achilles. I pulled a Hail Mary and stopped running altogether to try and get it to heal. And then about 5 days before the race, I ended up with the flu. And the night before the race, I just remember feeling injured and sick. And despite 5 months of good training for my first 100K, I decided to pull out of the race with just a few hours before the start.
Well, it's 3:45 in the morning of the Sean O'Brien 100K. I'm drinking my smoothie. Went for a shakeout run yesterday, and it's a bummer, but unfortunately I can't run the race.
But that was in February, and you pretty much have until November to get a qualifier for the Western States 100 lottery. So the next thing I looked at was actually the Waldo 100K in September, and I signed up for that race. There was a lottery for it, and I didn't get in. Finally, I settled for the Cuyamaca 100K, which is in October, middle of October. And that's currently the race that I'm signed up for and I'm training for. I decided to run this 50K not too far from my university as a little bit of a tune-up. But the week before that, I'd started dealing with a little bit of a pain in my thigh, and I didn't know what it was, and I didn't think it was very serious. So I ran the race anyway, and upon finishing that race, I had a lot of pain in that area. And then as the next week and the week after that went by, it was clear that I had developed a femoral stress fracture. That was the hardest setback I've ever faced as a runner. I'd definitely been struggling in school a little bit earlier in the year, and running was always a means of dealing with any stresses. And to not be able to do that was extremely hard, and it was the longest period of time I haven't been able to run since I've started as a runner, which was 6 years ago. I started doing a lot of cycling and rock climbing and aqua jogging and elliptical workouts, but I wasn't doing any running for that 12 weeks. And with the Cuyamaca 100K about 5 months to 4 months away, I started to get really worried that I wasn't going to build up to that race in time. Finally, I got out of school and I came home for the summer. That was 11 weeks after I'd injured my femur, and I started doing 1 week of 2-mile runs. So I did 5 2-mile runs and then took a couple days off, a 10-mile week. I did that, I felt good. The next week I did 3-mile runs, I did that, I still felt good. And then this last week I did a couple 4-mile runs and then went on a backpacking trip, which was about 10 miles a day with a heavy pack on, and I felt good. And at this point, I'm confident that my femur's healed and I'm ready to build up to the next challenge, which is the Cuyamaca 100K, to get my Western States lottery ticket. That's the plan for right now. I'm only running about 20 miles a week, but I expect by the time Cuyamaca rolls around, I should be up to close to 100 miles per week. I have to be really careful not to re-injure something, but I think I can do this, and I'm gonna try and do everything I can to get my qualifier at Cuyamaca. Thanks so much for following along. I love reading and responding to comments in the last couple of videos I made about Western States. Follow along and you'll see my own journey to get into the race and hopefully win someday. I'll take a camera on a couple of training runs. And yeah, thanks. If you like this, please subscribe. And I'll see you next time.